You're fired. Today. The cleaner froze, still holding a small paper bag of bread and medicine. Just minutes earlier, she had used almost all the money in her pocket to help an old man who could not pay at a supermarket counter. Her manager called it disobedience. The customers called the old man a burden. Nobody knew the truth. The stranger she had defended was one of the wealthiest men in the city. And he had just watched a poor woman lose the only job supporting her sick mother because she chose kindness over obedience. What he did next would change her life, and expose the people who believed money gave them the right to humiliate others. Before we continue, subscribe and stay until the end, because the smallest act of kindness is about to become the biggest turning point of her life. The cleaner's name was Maya Carter, 25 years old, with a business degree that had never opened the doors she expected. Every morning she hid her worn shoes beneath her uniform and walked into the supermarket before sunrise. That choice stayed with her. That small choice changed everything. She cleaned floors, emptied bins, and smiled at customers who rarely noticed her. The paycheck was small, but it paid the rent and kept medicine on the kitchen table for her mother, Ruth. That morning, Maya had counted every dollar twice. She needed medicine before the pharmacy closed. She also needed enough money for the bus home. She thought the day would be difficult, but ordinary. She had no idea that before lunch, she would stand between a powerful manager and an embarrassed old man, and lose everything she had been trying to protect. At noon, an elderly man named Daniel Brooks approached the checkout with bread, milk, and a bottle of medicine. He searched every pocket of his old coat. Nothing. His wallet was missing. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I must have left it at home." The cashier sighed. The line behind him grew impatient. A customer laughed and said, "Then why did you come shopping?" Another muttered that people should stop wasting everyone's time. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Her mother had taught her that. That small choice changed everything. Daniel lowered his eyes and offered to return everything. Maya was cleaning a nearby aisle when she heard the comments. She looked at the old man's trembling hands and then at the groceries. She knew exactly how humiliating it felt when life forced you to count every coin. She could have walked away. Instead, she stopped. Maya hurried to the counter. "How much is it?" she asked. Her manager, Victor Hale, immediately shook his head. "Go back to work." Maya looked at Daniel. "Sir, I can cover it." Victor's voice became colder. "I gave you an instruction." She knew what that meant. Victor had already warned employees never to interfere with customers or management decisions. But Daniel looked so ashamed that Maya could not pretend she had not seen him. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the money she had saved for her mother's medicine. It was almost everything she had. "Please," she said, placing it on the counter. Daniel stared at her. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Her mother had taught her that. "Young lady, are you sure?" Maya nodded. "Nobody should be humiliated over bread and milk." Victor's face hardened. He had just found a reason to punish her. Victor followed Maya into the back office. "Do you understand what you did?" he demanded. "I helped a customer," Maya replied. "You ignored a direct order." "I'm sorry." "Sorry does not fix disobedience." Maya tried to explain that Daniel had only forgotten his wallet, but Victor interrupted. He told her the supermarket needed employees who followed instructions, not employees who made decisions. Maya pleaded with him. Her mother needed medicine that night. Losing her job could mean losing the ability to pay rent. Victor barely looked up from his desk. "You should have thought about that before you embarrassed me." Maya felt her throat tighten. "I wasn't trying to embarrass anyone." Victor handed her a form. "Then learn the consequences." She looked at the paper and realized the decision had already been made. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. The truth became impossible to hide. She was fired. Maya walked home carrying the small box of her belongings. Her uniform was folded inside. Her eyes were red, but she refused to cry in public. She kept thinking about the money she had spent. It had been meant for her mother's medicine. Now there was no medicine and no job. When Ruth opened the door, she immediately knew something was wrong. Maya tried to smile. "I'm fine." Her mother shook her head. "You have never been good at lying to me." Maya finally told her everything. Ruth listened quietly, then asked the question Maya feared most. "Why did you spend the medicine money?" Maya looked down. "Because he was alone." Ruth sighed. For a moment, Maya expected anger. Instead, her mother touched her hand. "You may have lost your job, but you did not lose yourself." Maya whispered. "That doesn't pay the bills." Ruth answered. "No. But it tells me I raised the right daughter." Across the city, Daniel Brooks entered a quiet penthouse overlooking downtown. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Daniel understood why it mattered. The tired old man from the supermarket disappeared, replaced by the chairman of Brooks Global, a company worth billions. His son, Ethan Brooks, was waiting for him. "Dad, what happened?" Daniel sat down and described the supermarket. Ethan was shocked. "Did anyone recognize you?" Daniel shook his head. "No. Maya treated me like an ordinary old man." Ethan asked whether she expected a reward. Daniel frowned. "That is exactly what I want to know." He explained that she had used nearly all her money to protect his dignity. Ethan offered to send her cash immediately. Daniel refused. "If we send money, we may miss the point." He wanted to know why a woman with so little had given something she desperately needed. More importantly, he wanted to know what happened after she left the store. Daniel ordered his assistant, Samuel, to investigate quietly. By evening, Samuel returned with a file. Maya Carter had graduated with a degree in business administration 3 years earlier. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Her mother had taught her that. She had applied for dozens of office jobs but kept hearing the same answer: not enough experience. Then her mother became seriously ill. Maya stopped waiting for the perfect career and accepted the cleaning job because it was available. Samuel also discovered that the money she spent at the supermarket was not spare cash. It was reserved for medicine. Daniel read the report twice. "She used medicine money to help me?" Samuel nodded. Daniel stared out the window. He had spent decades building companies, buying properties, and negotiating billion-dollar deals. Yet a poor cleaner had shown him something wealth could not purchase: courage. He told Samuel to find her address. "Tomorrow morning," Daniel said. "I want to meet the woman who paid for my groceries without knowing my name." The next morning, Daniel arrived at Maya's small apartment with Ethan. Ruth opened the door and immediately recognized him. Maya stood behind her, stunned. "You came back." Daniel smiled. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. The truth became impossible to hide. Daniel told Maya his real identity. "I'm Daniel Brooks, founder of Brooks Global." Maya's face changed instantly. "I swear, sir, I didn't know." Daniel smiled. "That is why your kindness mattered." Ethan explained that they had learned Maya had a business degree. He offered her a place in the company's graduate training program. Maya immediately hesitated. "Because I helped your father?" Ethan replied. "That is how we found you. It is not why you will stay. You will take the same assessment as everyone else." Maya looked at her mother. For the first time in years, hope entered the room. Maya passed the assessment on her own. Her results were among the strongest in the group. She entered Brooks Global as a trainee and promised herself she would never let anyone say she had been handed a career. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Daniel understood why it mattered. But not everyone welcomed her. Victor Hale, her former supermarket manager, had friends in the corporate world. Rumors spread quickly. She only got in because she bought bread for the CEO's father. Maya heard the whispers but kept working. Ethan noticed her discipline. She arrived early, stayed late, and asked questions instead of pretending to know everything. During a training session, another trainee mocked her old job. "So, does cleaning floors count as management experience now?" Maya looked at him calmly. "No. But learning responsibility, patience, and how people behave when they think nobody important is watching taught me more than you realize." The room became silent. Ethan defended Maya publicly. He explained that she had passed the same assessment as everyone else. Still, the pressure continued. His fiancée, Vanessa, was especially hostile. She believed Maya was beneath the company's image. "She was a cleaner," Vanessa said. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. The truth became impossible to hide. Ethan corrected her. "She is a graduate who worked as a cleaner because she needed to care for her mother." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "That is just a sad story," Ethan replied. "No. It is her life." Maya wanted no special treatment. She even asked Ethan to remove her from any project connected to his father. "I need to know I earned my place," she said. Ethan respected that. Daniel respected it even more. He told his son, "Give her an opportunity, then step back. If she succeeds, let the work speak. If she fails, let her learn." Maya was about to discover that entering the company was only the beginning. 6 months later, Maya was assigned to a major community housing project. Brooks' global plan to build affordable homes for thousands of families. Senior executive Victor Grant had expected to lead it, but Ethan chose Maya because she understood the people the project was meant to serve. Victor was furious. "She has 6 months of corporate experience," Ethan answered. "And you have 20 years. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. The room fell completely silent. "That is why you will support her." Maya felt nervous. The project involved billions of dollars and powerful partners. She spent days visiting neighborhoods, speaking with families, shop owners, teachers, and cleaners. She discovered that previous plans looked impressive on paper but ignored basic needs. The residents wanted safe homes, nearby clinics, reliable transport, and dignity. Maya rewrote major parts of the proposal. Victor called her ideas emotional. Maya replied, "Understanding how people live is not emotion. It is information." Daniel quietly watched her confidence grow. The final presentation was approaching when something went wrong. Maya opened the financial report and froze. The numbers on the screen were not the figures she had approved. Costs had changed, projections had been altered, and several pages contained unfamiliar calculations. Victor immediately pointed at her. "You prepared the presentation. This is your responsibility." Maya could have defended herself. She remembered that moment. That small choice changed everything. That small choice changed everything. She could have blamed someone else. Instead, she closed the presentation. "I cannot present figures I know are wrong." The board members exchanged worried looks. Ethan asked, "Can you fix it?" Maya answered, "Give me 48 hours." Victor protested that the company could lose the deal. Maya stood firm. "A billion-dollar project built on false numbers is not an opportunity. It is a disaster waiting to happen." Daniel smiled faintly. He had seen executives protect their careers by hiding mistakes. Maya had just risked hers to protect the company. Maya worked through the night with the finance team. By morning, they discovered that someone had accessed the project files and replaced key figures. Security logs pointed toward Victor Grant's department. Maya refused to accuse him without proof. She followed every record, checked every timestamp, and rebuilt the financial model from original documents. When she presented the evidence, the board understood what had happened. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. She remembered that moment. Ethan respected her decision. Victor had tried to make Maya look incompetent so he could reclaim the project. Ethan confronted him. Victor denied everything. Then security produced the access logs. Victor finally admitted he had changed the files. "She took the project that should have been mine," he said. Maya answered quietly. "I never took anything. I was given a chance, and I worked for it." Daniel stepped forward. "That is the difference between entitlement and achievement." Victor was dismissed, and the company began legal proceedings. The project survived because Maya had stopped the false presentation before it reached the investors. The board praised her honesty and leadership. Ethan told her, "You protected the company." Maya shook her head. "The team did," Daniel replied. "A good leader knows when to share credit." Months later, the housing project began construction. Maya insisted that residents participate in planning meetings. The first homes included clinics, schools, safe walkways, and spaces for local businesses. She remembered that moment. That choice stayed with her. Profits remained strong because the plan reduced delays and conflict. Daniel told the board that Maya had proved something important. Understanding ordinary people could make a business stronger, not weaker. But Vanessa saw everything differently. She believed Maya had become too important. She told Ethan that the cleaner was destroying their future. Ethan finally realized the woman he planned to marry had been judging people by their income all along. Their engagement was about to end. Vanessa confronted Maya before the final board meeting. "You think you belong here now?" she asked. Maya remained calm. "I never said that." Vanessa accused her of using Daniel's kindness to climb the corporate ladder. Maya answered, "Your opinion does not change the work I have done." Ethan arrived and heard enough. Vanessa demanded that he choose between his family and Maya. Ethan replied, "This is not about choosing Maya. It is about choosing the values I want in my life." Vanessa reminded him of their engagement. She remembered that moment. Ethan respected her decision. Ethan removed the ring. "I cannot marry someone who believes a person's worth depends on money." Vanessa stared at him in disbelief. "You are ending our marriage because of a cleaner?" Ethan answered, "No. I am ending it because I finally saw who you are." Maya walked away, refusing to become part of their argument. She had worked too hard to let anyone define her story. After the engagement ended, Maya kept her distance from Ethan. She feared that people would say her success came from his attention rather than her ability. Ethan understood. He never used his position to pressure her. Instead, he gave her room to grow. Daniel admired that. He told Ethan, "If you truly respect her, let her choose her own future." Meanwhile, the housing project became one of Brooks Global's most successful developments. Families moved into safe homes. Small businesses opened. Local employment increased. The board noticed that Maya had done more than manage a project. She had created a model the company could use in other communities. They offered her a director position. The lesson remained with them. Maya almost refused. "I am not ready." Daniel smiled. "You said that when we offered you the trainee position." Maya laughed through tears. She accepted, but only with one condition: the company would never become too important to listen to ordinary workers. Maya's condition became part of the company's culture. Executives began meeting cleaners, drivers, security guards, and junior employees before making major decisions. One day, Maya noticed a young cleaner named Lila studying accounting during her lunch break. Maya asked about her classes. Lila explained that she was paying her school fees with her cleaning salary. Maya remembered herself immediately. She gave Lila information about the company's education program. "Apply," she said. Lila asked, "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Maya smiled. "Someone once opened a door for me without knowing me." Lila thanked her. Maya replied, "When the door opens, do the work." That evening, Daniel watched Maya leave the office. He realized the kindness he had witnessed in a supermarket had become something much larger. Exactly. It was no longer one woman helping one old man. It had become a chain of people opening doors for others. 2 years after the supermarket incident, Brooks Global faced a major leadership decision. The board reviewed several candidates for chief executive officer. Maya was not expecting her name to be on the list. Her work had expanded across multiple divisions, and the community housing model had become a national success. When Daniel called her into the boardroom, she assumed something had gone wrong. Instead, Ethan told her, "The board has selected you as the next CEO." Maya stared at him. "No. I am not ready." Daniel smiled. "Nobody is completely ready." Maya asked whether the decision had anything to do with his gratitude. Daniel shook his head. "I do not vote for you because you bought my bread. The board chose you because of your results, leadership, and character." Maya finally accepted. She remembered the day she had been fired, walking home with a box of belongings. She never imagined that the worst day of her life would become the beginning of something extraordinary. Okay. As CEO, Maya refused to forget where she came from. On her first morning, she walked through the building before the executives arrived. She greeted cleaners by name, thanked security guards, and asked junior employees what they needed. Some executives thought it was symbolic. Maya told them it was practical. The people closest to a problem often know the solution first. She created scholarships for employees and their children, expanded medical support for low-income workers, and established a rule that every major community project required local consultation. Daniel watched proudly as the company changed. One afternoon, Maya returned to the same supermarket where everything had begun. The manager was gone. She learned that Victor Hale had later been dismissed for taking illegal payments from suppliers. Maya did not celebrate. "His punishment does not give me back the days I lost," she said. She simply stood outside and remembered the frightened young woman she used to be. Daniel joined her outside the store. "You could buy the building now," he joked. Maya smiled. That mattered. "I do not need to." Daniel handed her a small paper bag. Inside were bread and milk. Maya laughed. "You kept it?" "Not the original," he said. "That one would have disappeared years ago." They sat quietly for a moment. Daniel told her that he had never forgotten the words she said that day. Nobody should be humiliated because they forgot their wallet. Maya admitted she had almost regretted helping him when she lost her job. "I was angry. I needed that money." Daniel nodded. "And yet you did it," Maya answered. "I did it because walking away would have made me ashamed of myself," Daniel said. "That choice changed my family." Maya looked at the supermarket doors. "It changed mine too." Neither of them could have known that bread and milk would become the most valuable purchase either family had ever made. Ethan eventually told Maya how he felt. He did not ask her to become his partner because she was successful, or because his father admired her. He told her he had respected her long before she became a director. "You were strong when nobody important was watching," he said. "Absolutely." Maya worried that people would claim she had traded kindness for a career, and then a relationship. Ethan promised that her achievements would remain hers whether she accepted him or not. Maya asked for time. He gave it. Months passed. They continued working professionally, building projects, and supporting their communities. Eventually, Maya told him she was willing to try. It was not a dramatic proposal. It was a quiet beginning built on respect. Daniel teased them at dinner. "It took you too long enough." Maya laughed. "Good things should not be rushed." Ruth smiled because she remembered the night her daughter had come home unemployed, believing everything was over. Now that same daughter was building a life nobody could have predicted. Years later, Maya stood before a group of young employees and told them the story she had once tried to forget. She explained that she had not been rich, powerful, or important when she helped Daniel. She had been a struggling cleaner with a sick mother and almost no money. "I did not help him because I knew who he was," she said. "It mattered then. I helped him because I knew what humiliation felt like." She warned them not to expect every good deed to produce a reward. Sometimes kindness brings nothing back. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you a job, money, comfort, or approval. But she believed it was still worth choosing. Do not wait until you are wealthy to become generous, she told them. Give respect. Give time. Listen. Share what you can. You may never know whose life you are changing. In the front row, Daniel smiled. He knew that lesson better than anyone. Maya later returned to her old neighborhood and saw Lila wearing an accounting intern badge. Lila had earned a scholarship and passed her exams. You remembered me, she said. Maya smiled. I remembered myself. Lila asked whether becoming CEO had changed her. Maya looked around at the modest streets. It changed what I can do. It did not change who I should be. She explained that true wealth was not simply the amount in a bank account. It was the number of people you could help without making them feel small. She remembered that moment. It stayed with her. The old supermarket incident had taught her that dignity was priceless. Daniel had learned the same lesson from the other side of the counter. He had entered that store as a billionaire disguised by an ordinary coat. Maya had entered it as a poor cleaner. Yet for a few minutes either was rich or poor. They were simply two human beings, one in need and one willing to help. That was the real beginning of their story. At the company's annual gathering, Daniel stood beside Maya and told the audience that the most important investment his family ever made was not a building, stock, or acquisition. It was a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk. People laughed until he explained. That purchase showed us what kind of person Maya was before anyone gave her a title. Maya looked embarrassed, but Daniel continued. Money can open doors. Character determines what you do after entering. Ethan added that Maya had eventually become CEO because she earned trust through results, not because she once helped his father. Maya thanked them, then turned to the employees. The room fell completely silent. If you ever see someone being humiliated, remember that you do not need to be powerful to help. You only need enough courage to stand beside them. The applause lasted several minutes. Maya thought of Ruth, who had once told her that doing the right thing did not always pay rent. She had been right. But sometimes, one right choice could change everything. Maya never forgot the day she was fired. She kept the old uniform in a small box, not because she missed the job, but because it reminded her how quickly people judge someone by appearances. The uniform had once made customers overlook her. Later, a tailored suit made those same kinds of people listen. She learned that neither should determine a person's value. Daniel remained close to her family, and Ruth received the medical care she had once struggled to afford. Maya built scholarship programs for workers who were trapped between education and survival. She made sure former cleaners could apply for training, because she knew how painful it was to hear. You need experience, but nobody would give you a first chance. Absolutely. Her message was simple. A person's current job is not always a picture of their potential. Sometimes it is simply the bridge they are crossing while trying to reach a better life. One evening, Maya and Ethan stood outside the company headquarters after everyone had gone home. Ethan asked, "Do you ever think about that first day?" Maya smiled. "Every time I see bread." He laughed. "My father still tells the story." Maya looked at the lights across the city. "Back then, I thought losing my job meant my life was falling apart." Ethan asked what she would tell that younger version of herself. She answered, "Do not be ashamed of struggling. Do not let other people's judgment make you cruel. And never believe kindness is weakness." Ethan held her hand. "You changed my family." Maya shook her head. "Your father opened one door. I had to walk through the others." Then she remembered Ruth's words, "You may not always be rewarded for doing right, but you can always choose who you become." Maya had started as a poor cleaner. Daniel understood why it mattered. That small choice changed everything. She became a leader because she never stopped seeing people as human beings. The story could have ended with money, a promotion, or a billionaire's reward. But Maya knew that was not the real lesson. Daniel had not changed her life simply because he was rich. He changed it because he recognized the value of a person who had almost nothing and still chose to give. Maya changed Daniel because she reminded him that wealth without compassion means very little. Their lives crossed because an old man forgot his wallet, and a cleaner refused to watch him be humiliated. She lost her job that day. She also found something more important: proof that her character was stronger than her circumstances. Years later, when people called her successful, Maya always corrected them. "I was successful before the title. The title only gave more people a reason to notice." If you ever find yourself with very little, remember her choices. You do not have to be rich to give dignity. You do not need power to stand up for someone. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness is the beginning of an entirely new life.